This is exciting. Unfortunately, Sam cannot be here, so it's more one-on-one with Luke Taylor, full court press legends, full court legends. We've got a gentleman that I'd have to say, after doing a little research on this fine gentleman, kind of like an Allen Iverson in Virginia, minus the bowling alley. But hey, we got Vernon Hamilton, former Clemson great, current McNeese Cowboys assistant coach, former NBA player, and former, I can't even pronounce half the teams you played on professionally. I can pronounce Fort Wayne Mad Ants, Colorado, but like there's some teams I'm not even, like, I don't even know. So we're going to have some fun. Vernon, thanks for joining us, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I obviously enjoy watching you guys' the show, and when
The
I found
train,
out
you
I had
like
a
watching the
chance,
train wreck?
nah, you guys do great work, man.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you. We love it. And we love so Sam and I are kind of basketball purists and just love basketball at all levels. But what I love is like the 90s. The 90s
Yeah,
and early 2000s, college ball was like off the hook. And I mean, that's kind of when you played at
yeah,
Clemson from 2003, 2007. So let's go back. You're the 83rd ranked college or high school prospect going into college in going in your senior years. Obviously, like I was looking at it, it's like, man, you average 24 points a game. I'm like, man, this guy's a ball hog. 7.7 assists, 3 steals,
yeah.
6.2 rebounds. What the hell were you doing in high school?
I was a little bit more athletic back then than I am
Yeah,
now,
well, we
but
all were. Yeah, we all
but
were.
I was fortunate enough to be at a school where I had a chance to kind of really showcase what I could do. The
Mhm.
coach kind of put the ball in my hands and was like, "Vern, go make a play."
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I tend to try and coach some of the guys that I work with. And when you see yourself have an opportunity to be one of the top players in the state, then you think, all right, what can I do nationally? And then from that point forward, at that point you want to try and play at the highest level you can possibly play.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting because you were all state and all conference as a defensive back and wide receiver. You garnered some interest in college football. Was it tough to did you ever be like, yeah, I kind of want to play college football. I want to play college basketball. I want to do both. Did that ever enter your mind that senior year?
It did. I was extremely close to considering playing both, but at that time, guys that had started to play both, they none of them really kind of made it.
Hmm.
A lot of them were kind of still, either put in one where you had to either play football or you had to play basketball once they got to college. I didn't want to kind of have to go through that. The funny thing is, I had more football scholarships than basketball.
Really?
Like Notre Dame was in my high school, Clemson was in my high school. Like they came to see me regularly to, try and
Wow.
push me to play football. My mom wanted me to play football. Usually it's the other way around. And my dad was actually like, "I think you'll have a little bit more longevity, and I think you should go the basketball route."
You
And
ever
it's a
wonder
little bit
about
cooler
that?
inside than it is outside.
You ever wonder about that though?
I do all the time. I'm always like, man, in my size, being 6 feet, 6'1", you probably would have a little bit. You can play multiple positions at football. Basketball,
Yep.
you either one or two at that
Yep.
size. So
Yeah.
football is like, all right, you can play corner, you can play safety, you can play receiver, you can play in the slot, you can play cornerback. So there's a lot more you can do at that size.
Yeah, I think some people don't understand how good Allen Iverson was in football in high school. I watched some highlights of him. I'm like, it's just like, zoop, 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 zoop. He's just like a pinball everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. He was one of those dudes that would have been a star in, either sport. He was that talented. At
Yeah.
that time, you had a guy like Ronald Curry who was also
Yep.
like big time in Virginia.
Yep.
He went to Carolina to play
Yep. Point guard.
football and
Yeah. He was a ball
basketball.
player. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Ronald
he
Curry was a
was.
ball
He
player.
was.
Yep. Yeah.
In Virginia, we got those dudes, Mike Vick. We all kind of came through that Tidewater DMV area.
Yeah, you know who else threw up some? I saw you threw up some high school or college highlights from Clemson. And I was like, okay, this boy's kind of quick. But you know who threw up some highlights was Julius Peppers,
Yes,
former Carolina Panthers, and people I think sometimes forget he could throw down some dunks at the Tar Heels.
for sure. Pep was a monster.
Yeah,
Anything off the rim, he was going to go get it, and he was going to put you in that basket. So like, he was one of those guys like. That he was just like you wouldn't want to see him on the football court or basketball court. He was
yeah.
just a monster.
Yeah. So take me to your recruitment. So your top 100 recruit, obviously highly sought off of. So everybody does these like drops these top 20s and top 12s. We're not going to go
Yeah.
there because we didn't have that back then. Who would you say your top 3 or top 5 was before deciding to go to Clemson?
I think I was leaning towards NC State a little bit, kind of at the
Okay.
time. University of Virginia was one of the first schools that kind of had reached out to me. They got ahead of the curve like my sophomore year. They invited me to a basketball game and tried to
Mm.
kind of get me to make a verbal commitment there. And I was kind of like, wait, let me kind of see how this goes and let it play out. And fortunately at that time, Coach Shy had brought me down to campus. I had a chance to see those boys run down the hill, and kind of became a Clemson Tiger after that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was pretty easy after kind of going through that experience and stuff like that. So take me
Yeah.
through your college career. I mean, you had a good you average about 7.3, played at 28 games, you got some minutes. You averaged up just under 27 minutes a game. I mean, you played a lot of minutes. Went down a little bit, but then your junior and senior year, man, you played a little bit more, increased maybe about 10, 12% minute wise, and your scoring obviously increased too. Tell me, like, just kind of tell me about your college career.
Yeah, I'll be honest. My main focus coming out of high school is like I want to play in the ACC because at that time you're talking Chris Paul, Raymond Felton, Jared Jack. These are all guys who went on to be first round draft picks, and even some of the other guys like John Gilchrist. Like there was some prime talent coming through there. At the time, and for me it was like, all right, I want to play in the ACC, and the goal of mine was to start as a freshman, and I actually had that opportunity. Not many freshmen in the ACC during that time, had a chance to start right away. So at that point, it was like, all right, I just want to be productive. I want to be able to get out there, be a pest, be a menace, be able to pick up 94 feet, and cause guys to, really be uncomfortable when I play against them.
Yeah.
From that point forward, I transitioned into my sophomore year. I got a dose of what this side of it is like now, which is coaching. Coach Purnell came in with 2 point guards. He was trying to improve his roster, and I had to beat those guys out. And I think that's what the way it needs to be now. Basketball is meant to be competitive. It's not meant to be handed to you. I know a lot of times in this era, guys just feel like entitled or as if like, hey, like I'm gonna come there, I'm gonna start. This is my
Yeah.
job. Like you still got to compete, because that carries over to the game and how you want these guys to play and approach it. So, I managed to, be able to retain my position and allowed it to carry over to my junior year. And that's when I felt like I took that big jump that, we kind of talked
Yeah.
about.
So I want to go back to your high school recruiting just quickly because I've had a kind of a brain fart. Do you have any like funny stories from your recruiting days from when you were getting recruited? Any coaches that, I mean, you don't have to say their names, but either
Yeah.
said or did something, because we've heard from like coach got bit by their dog. I mean, bad chili. I mean, we've kind of heard of all.
No, I mean, just all those coaches. They call with so many different personalities. I remember a certain coach calling and being like, "If it was only 2 people in the world I could talk to tonight, it would be Halle Berry or Vernon Hamilton. Since I can't get Halle, I'll take you, Vernon." So, they just it was always
What time
something.
out? When you were a high school senior and a coach said that to you, what the hell were you thinking? Shit, I don't even know what I'm thinking now.
Right, right. It's just like, oh man, but it's good. It's exciting. And I
Yeah.
know I see now. How much you actually I enjoy it. Like being on this side of it now, it's like, man, like I
Yeah.
can't wait for that, time period to open so I can go
Yeah, I
recruit.
mean, and back then they would build relationships. I remember, like, I had like 2 garbage bags, about garbage bag and a half filled with like college recruiting letters. Now, I went to high school in the '90s, early '90s, a little bit different, as my daughter gets older and is a competitive golfer. It's like you send emails, you don't send like videotapes or
Right.
stats, or you just kind of like it's so different now. But so take me through kind of the end of your senior year. You graduate, you're done. What's next? I mean, obviously you played. I see a little Cavs back there, a little LeBron
Yeah.
James. I don't think he signed that though. That looks like LeBron James. I think he forgot the B to screw you, huh?
Yeah, my boys always give me a hard time about it. But yeah, so after my senior year, it was time to, be able to face reality. I had an opportunity to work out with, a couple of NBA teams. And then, I went through that experience that a lot of guys go through on draft night of,
Mhm.
that unknown, that hope that, hey, maybe there's a possibility. And, I didn't go drafted, but, I had a chance to go over to Germany my first year out of school. And I was over there with Ludwigsburg. They were a Euro Cup team at the time. And after that, I actually went over to Japan to play. And after about a month being in Japan, my agent was like, hey, we spoke with the Cavs, would you want to come back for training camp? And I was like, absolutely. So I kind of got out of my deal there. I went back. I had to go to Cleveland about a month before training camp even started. They have like 4 or 5 guys in having workouts. I was just out playing all of them, every day. I just was completely focused on basketball. And, I was fortunate enough to, have a chance to, be in that room and get that opportunity and play in some preseason games and, have a chance to witness someone like LeBron who just got back from winning being able to play in the Olympics and
Mhm.
then just see his work ethic and his preparation, how much he puts into it, how dedicated he is. And it's just, it was unbelievable to see. And it was just a great group of guys. I'm still close with all of them to this day.
Yeah, yeah. So you played some really good professional basketball all over the place.
Yeah.
What I guess when was the moment you realized, I kind of want to give back and go into coaching? Because I feel like, coaching is a lot of giving back. But what was the moment or what was the kind of transition from playing to coaching?
Kind of came to me. So I had suffered an injury that kind of was going to put me out for a year. And during that year, I had a lot of time to think and kind of reflect on
Hmm.
what I wanted to do next. And, I felt like being a point guard, coaching was always in me. Just seeing the guys asked me to work out with them in the summer or for them to be able to work out with me. And
Hmm.
that's when I picked up the phone and I reached out to Coach Barnell. And, I didn't even play for him, but I was just like, Coach, I'm living in Atlanta. I'm thinking about
How'd you
transitioning
know
to
him?
coach. So I didn't. So I played for Oliver Purnell, and then
Yep.
Barnell got
OP.
the job, yeah, a few years after. And, I just cold called him. Never had met him. I just had reached out to the basketball office, told him I was a former player. Coach Barnell called me back. He was like, "Hey, Vern, what do you think about driving up to Clemson one day and us sitting down and talking and just getting lunch?" And that's how that opportunity happened. And, I'm forever grateful for that. Him giving me kind of, that platform to be able to
Mhm.
transition into coaching.
Yep. So you went from Clemson to where? Kind of take me through your stops.
So I did 2 years at Clemson as a graduate assistant. I was
Mhm.
able to get my master's and, kind of just learn from underneath Coach Barnell, kind of, get used to that routine. People
Mhm.
think it's a huge difference to go from playing to coaching, the amount of hours that are actually into the coaching side of it.
Yeah.
So, I found out very quickly, like, all right, yeah, I am built for this because there's a lot
Mhm.
of people who aren't. And after that, I went to Dallas with the Mavericks and did player development under
Yep.
Mike Procopio at the time. Rick Carlisle was the head coach, and
Mhm.
that's where I was able to get a lot of stuff from the NBA to be able to bring over to college. And that's when I really felt like, all right, I've hit my stride with this. Just as far as being able to relate to the players as well as being able to get the message from the coaching staff across to them and being able to maximize their talents. And from there, I actually went over to South Korea and coached over there. Very good league. They have a lot of ex NBA players who play over there, and I loved my time over there. Extremely close with everyone over there. And then I was fortunate enough to get a call from Coach Wade. He reached out to me and told me that he was looking for someone to work with the guys in player development. I spoke with him. I've known him since I was 18. He was at Clemson with me, so I've known Coach my whole life.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah, yes. How about that?
That's
Yeah,
funny.
Coach and I were at Clemson together. He's older than me.
How was he in college?
The exact same way he is now for the most part. Always eager to learn, always
No,
same
I'm
work
more
ethic.
talking about, like, the social life, like, the parties
Social
and
life?
stuff. Because 'Cause I'm gonna
No.
tell you something about Clemson, okay? So,
Oh,
there was
yeah.
a movie that came out a couple years ago called The Safety, okay? The
Okay.
Disney movie, and actually one of my buddies, TJ Mixon's son, was the little brother in that movie, okay? So we had to watch it because TJ is a great dude. Son's doing
Right.
big things, in his career at a young career and as a teenager, you know? So we watched it, and I've got, 3 kids. I got a daughter who's 15, an 11-year-old son, a 9-year-old son. And the 11-year-old a couple years was a little bit shy or quiet. So there's a scene where they're at a party, and there's all these girls, and he just all of a sudden stops, looks at us, he says, "I'm going to Clemson."
That's kinda how it goes, at one point, especially when I was in college, it was a top 5 party school, so
Yeah.
it's a fun time out
You
there,
still
but
didn't ask
God,
a question about Coach Wade and partying.
not too much. Coach has always been about his business.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was gonna be a head coach at the time, but I knew he had a goal on, making sure that he was gonna be successful. That's kinda how he's always been.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there one game in particular from college or the pros that you just kinda, like, puts a smile on your face to think about it again?
Yeah, I would have to say, probably the game that I broke the all-time steals record at Clemson University. It meant a lot to me. I still have that ball from the
I
game
was
that
about to
day.
say, did they let you have the ball?
They did let me have the ball. And that was a big accomplishment because I
Did you
knew
get the
that year on.
jersey? Did you get the jersey from the opponent you stole it from? That would have been
I
cool.
w Right, that's what I should have did.
Stole his
Back then, we
jersey
didn't
and
have
his
the
soul.
jerseys. I wish I had, but yeah, that was probably the game that meant the most to me throughout my college career. And then the toughest heartbreak was at Duke to be able to hit back-to-back shots to tie the game. So we were down 5. I was able to draw contact, get a layup. But they didn't call it and one. Then they actually inbounded the ball to me. Like this is on like YouTube. Like it's crazy. Like straight
To
to me.
watch it. Yep.
4 seconds left on the clock. I hit the three. The clock's supposed to run out. Of course, you're at Cameron Indoor, and they put
Yep.
3.5 seconds back on the clock, and then they go
Yep.
down and score.
Shocker.
So yeah,
Yeah. That's what happens
yeah.
at Duke. No offense. So, but the funny thing is, your records will never be broken because of the transfer portal and NIL. So, congratulations.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah. Can you imagine what college ball would have been like when you were playing with NIL and the transfer portal?
Yeah, I think about it all the time. I wish it was actually going on when I was playing, but I'm happy for these guys. They
We
have an
we
opportunity.
we had Wes Flanagan from the Ole Miss
Oh, you did? Okay.
assistant.
Yeah.
He was a ball player like yourself at Auburn, and he said, if I could drop about 40, 80 pounds, get some of this, I'd be balling. I'm like, we're laughing about it, but it's crazy. We asked that a lot. We've asked that about we've had Big Mo, Marquise Speets, we've
Uh-huh.
had Jeff McGinnis, and it's pretty interesting to see kind of that transition and what it would have, or the translation, what it would have been like back then that is now. So, yeah, would it be, you think you would have transferred?
So I was in a tough situation. So the coach that actually recruited me, who actually ended up bringing me over to Dallas with the Mavericks, Larry Shyatt,
Yep.
unfortunately had gotten
Wyoming,
fired.
baby.
Wyoming, that's
Yep.
right.
Yep.
He actually had got let go from Clemson my senior year in high school. So Coach Purnell, when he came over from Dayton, he wasn't the one who
Yep.
recruited me. So I think in those type of situations, given the opportunity, like, all right, hey, I can kind of, open back up my recruitment, and because at that point, it gets late and it's tough. You
Yep.
don't know that coach at all. You don't have that same relationship you just built. So,
Yep.
it's a possibility that, I might would have been somewhere else.
We named one of my kids' beta fishes Oliver after Coach Purnell. It lasted about 3 weeks and it died. But I'm a DePaul guy. I know he was at DePaul. He struggled a little bit. Great coach, though. I know that, and just maybe not
Yeah.
the greatest fit for him at DePaul. So let me ask you this: give me your starting five. If you had an all-star team you put together in your college days, okay, when you were playing, and
Okay.
you can be on it or not, who would be on that team? Doesn't have
All
to be
right.
all ACC either. Can be 5 guys, the 4 years you were playing. Give me your 5.
I got to give CP his credit.
He was
He was
okay at Wake
always
Forest. Yeah.
he was all right at Wake Forest. Yeah, I would put CP, probably a point guard. He's
Yep.
just someone that I got a chance to play against, so I witnessed it firsthand.
He was that good, huh? I mean, he's 150, still be in the NBA. I mean, he's that
Right,
talented.
still in there. I
Christ.
mean, the way he plays the pick and roll is unbelievable. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a gift. I think a guy that, as far as like a big, that was pretty dominant back then. Obviously, you got to take any era or while I
No,
played.
no, when you were playing. I need
When I
5
was
guys from your
playing.
playing. It could be positionless because pretty much basketball now is positionless. Back then it wasn't. But yeah, whoever you want
Right,
to give me.
right. Um, this is gonna surprise a lot of people, but I'm gonna have to say Rashad McCants. He was another
Rashard
guy who was
McCants
good.
from UNC,
Rashad
baby.
McCants at UNC. I remember being in the ACC tournament and him looking at Raymond Felton and saying, "Are you ready now?" And then he just went on like 15-point scoring spree, back to back to back, all on his own.
Yeah.
And obviously Duke had a lot of talent. JJ Redick, he's someone else as well who is from Virginia. And, he's been an unbelievable mentor, and somebody that I think extremely highly of. And he. I mean, obviously, he led the country in scoring at Duke. And you knew night in, night out, he was going to get you 25, no matter how you guarded him, how you chased him. So he was someone else. LSU during that time, um, you're going to have to say guys like, hmm, This is the tough one because they went to the Final Four my senior year. Another guy that I worked with, it was highly recruited, but he didn't probably, but would be Tasman Mitchell.
So I got Chris Paul, I got Rashard
Hmm.
Chance, I got JJ Redick. I didn't get the last two. We had a little bit of technical difficulties.
Okay, all right. As far as I gotta really think about the big at the time with Maryland. Gosh, this is a tough one. You put me on the spot with this one.
That's what we do.
Um, I like it. I like it though. Yeah, I would have to say Marvin Harrison as well, out of Carolina.
Okay.
He was a freshman my senior year, but you saw the potential that he had, and then
I need one more.
I need one more.
I know you're going to throw in an ACC team player because you're an ACC homer, but that's cool. That's cool. Good basketball.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Uh,
Didn't get as many bids as the Mountain West, but we won't go there.
right, right. Sheesh, this is a tough one. I'm so caught up in today's basketball, I always forget about when we played.
Yeah.
Oh, sheesh.
2003 to 2007. Who was there?
Yeah. Mm. This is a tough one. I'm
All
trying
right.
to think
I'll
about.
let you think about it. I'll ask you some more
Let me
questions.
think on that one.
Okay.
Let me think on
So we do a little thing called the shot clock, and we want to throw you
Okay.
on there. You might fail, you might pass, but there's really no wrong or right answers. So
I got you.
who?
It's gonna be another shooting guard.
Who?
And I feel terrible for saying this. J.R. Reynolds. That is another guy from Virginia. How about that? All Virginia, all ACC team right there for the most part.
Wait, are
J.R.
all
Reynolds.
those 5 guys from Virginia?
So J.J. is, J.R. is, C.P.'s from North Carolina.
Kansas from
Um,
North Carolina, I think.
yes, yep, and
I think Marvin
then
Harrison's, I think, from North Carolina, because I feel like
yeah,
UNC got a lot of North Carolina kids.
they did during that time. Yeah.
All right, so I like that team. J.R. Reynolds, man, gosh, that's crazy. All ACC there. All right, so in
Yeah.
your playing days in college, which arena was the toughest to play in?
I would say at Carolina.
Okay, yeah, I've been there. Especially what did they do the
Yeah,
jump around for you?
they did. They didn't jump around,
That's
and
awesome.
yeah, yeah, it is. I mean, it's obviously Cameron. I mean, it's an unbelievable environment in there, but it's not that big.
No,
When
it's
those
not. I think
fans
it's like
yell,
22 rows to the top.
yeah,
It's not very
Carolina, when that crowd gets involved, it
yeah.
can affect the game a little
I've
bit.
been to both places, both great places. Toughest
Yeah,
who was the toughest guy to guard in college?
Jared Jack,
Okay. Yeah, you didn't
I
put
would
him on
say
your all, ACC team there. Interesting.
no, no, no,
Okay.
Jack's my guy,
Yeah.
but no, he just, I mean, he could put you in the post. He could, keep you. He could defend. Like it was a
Yep.
lot that he could do. So,
Okay. Okay.
he was a tough.
Okay. Most hated team.
Mm, I would say Duke more.
We asked Jeff McGinnis to give one word to describe Duke, and he didn't say anything. It was pretty
Right,
funny.
right.
Um, one word to describe the ACC.
Currently or when I played?
Both.
All right, when I played, I would say the most talented conference in college basketball.
Okay. What about now?
Now I would say,
The
you know,
sixth most talented conference in basketball.
it's
Good. Still good.
look, I think extremely highly of the ACC. It's the Atlantic Coast Conference, and now it's a little all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. What would be your spirit animal?
I would have to say spirit animal, something like I don't want to be so scripted about a book. Let's go with a panther.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Um, so they decided to make a scented candle after you. What would be the scent?
It would have to be the one hotel in South Beach.
Oh,
Whatever scent that is that they have in their lobby is me.
okay. Okay. I like that. I like that. Like a passion fruit, kind of coming like that. Okay. So what is one song that best describes you? What's your anthem?
I would have to say probably Jay-Z. What more can I say?
Oh, great song, great song, great song.
Yeah.
You passed. You passed. Um, so let me ask you this. So in your current role right now, you're with McNeese. How's that going? And what is it like being at McNeese, and what are your kind of expectations? I mean, it's we talked a little bit, throughout the season, and we are big on what you guys are doing, all the coaching staff.
Yeah.
I love what Coach Steve is doing in the strength and conditioning with the bricks. I love
Yep.
the bricks. I asked Coach Wade if they travel with them and stuff like that. But man, you guys just reloaded. I mean, on
Yeah.
paper, you reloaded. I know it's different when the ball goes up, but I mean, you reloaded and you got some really key players that God, I mean, Quadri Copeland from Syracuse, Slew, Joe Charles from Louisiana. I mean, how are you enjoying McNeese, and what are your expectations this year?
Last year was such a fun season. We didn't go into it kind of expecting to have the success that we had. We knew we were going to be good, but not that good.
Mhm.
And you got to give a lot of credit to those guys for helping us build the program and kind of get things rolling. And making McNeese, a place where guys want to come. That's not the
Mhm.
easiest thing to want to do.
Mm-mm.
But when you look at the support here, Louisiana, and how everyone is behind us. I mean, that's where it starts. I mean, we wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for this community, because they really rallied behind us. I mean, when
Mhm.
Coach was trying to figure out we wanted to construct our roster, and how we could go about trying to be able to get the type of NIL budget to be able to get these guys. And we want to operate at a high major level, so you have to have a high major budget, and
Mhm.
that's what this community has been able to do. And when you have that type of success, and you look at coach's success, why wouldn't you want to play for him? We had back-to-back first round picks at LSU between Cam
No.
Thomas and
I
Ari Gies.
know. I
If
know.
you're a one or a two or four and you play for him, like, there's not a better coach in the country to play for that's going to get you to the NBA.
Yeah, and it's funny because last year with I mean, there was 64 coaching jobs open, and
Yeah,
we're like, man, Will Wade's like he's gonna, Louisville came open, Michigan, and it's like
yeah,
he's not leaving. He's not
yeah,
leaving. He's not leaving. And I'm like, God, and especially in today's transfer pool and NIL, doesn't matter what school you're on. If the school, like
yeah,
your president, your AD, especially, he's sure is like dedicated to building the program, and you got that recipe,
yeah.
ooh, it's going to be good.
Yeah, I mean, you're not in such a rush. I mean, you could just tell, coach from the start was just kind of like, listen, we have a great opportunity here. They've, given me a second chance to be able to, do what I love doing. And,
Hmm.
I'm going to make sure that these people understand that I'm going to win for them. I'm going to show them the same type of loyalty that they showed to me. And, it was funny. Everybody was just like, is coach going to take this? Where's he going? Where's he going?
Right.
Just knowing him, and, knowing what he wanted to do here and what he's built here, that, we were just focusing on, who we could bring in.
Yep. Yep. So, any aspirations to be a head coach, college head coach?
Again, coach, threw me an opportunity last year, which I'm forever grateful for.
Yep.
He brought me in his office. He was like, "Listen, Vern, during my time out, I want you to be able to have opportunity to be a head coach, and see what you can do." And I was fortunate enough to get a win, big one at UAB. They won the American, so to beat them at UAB by 21 was huge, and that
Yep.
really kind of really helped my career take off as far as wanting to be, potentially a head coach one day. So, you know, I'm just enjoying learning underneath him right now.
Yep. Yep.
It's a lot more to learn, and great person to learn from.
Yep. Well, Vern, thanks. You're going to stick on with us one more second, but thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. Check out the McNeese State Cowboys. Go Pokes, I guess they say, or what do they say? Pokes or
Yeah, go Pokes.
yeah, go. I love your social media stuff, whether it's
Yeah.
yours or the team and stuff like that. It's really good. But check them out. Check them out on the sidelines. We really appreciate you jumping on the Full Court Legends podcast. Don't forget to check out the Full Court Press, a college basketball experience, and also tune you out, College Basketball Weekly. So, Coach, we really appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We'll be back hopefully with another legend in the next couple weeks.